Okay. Hello, everybody. What's up? This is Andrew. Welcome to Sip the Magic. This is my new Disney account where I'm going to be sharing a lot of content about Disney and basically because I'm a huge Disney fan. I'm also a photographer, videographer, and yeah. So before we get started here, first of all, I want to say I apologize. If you probably saw, you saw that I announced that this was going to be a live stream that was going to happen earlier today and everything. Sadly, had a ton of technical difficulties, like a ton of technical difficulties. I found out that my favorite lens is broken. That's sad. My camera fell over a couple days ago, and yeah, now it's broken. So that sucks. At least the camera's not broken though. I'm streaming from it now. I'm actually using a different lens right now though, and I kind of like this setup, this look a little bit more. It looks kind of cool. So happy accident, but still sad about the fact that a lens that I really like broke. I just want to try and get this looking good. All right, sweet. That looks a little bit better. Anyways, so yeah, found out my lens is broken. Had to deal with some technical difficulties with the stream. It was quite frustrating, but you know what? It's fine. We're here now. It took us a while, but we made it. This is the start of the channel. Nothing ever goes as you think it's going to go, and that's perfectly fine. So this is the first stream for the channel. And what I thought would be cool to do is to do a live edit and recap of my recent trip to Disneyland. So, fun fact about me, I used to go to Disneyland a lot. Like a lot. I used to go so much so that I kind of had to take a few year break. So I was in a relationship where she was a super Disney fan. We both were. We actually met at Disneyland. It was cool. But the problem is that we went a lot. We went well into 1,000 times over the course of 4 years. So that kind of makes me a Disney expert. That's kind of the joke that a lot of friends I have, where they're just like, "Dude, if I go to Disneyland with you, like we won't have to worry about anything." So it's kind of funny. But at the same time, it definitely got a bit exhausting. Um, I ended up taking a break for a few years, and I was really sad because so much has changed in the park and everything. And on this most recent trip, it was really cool to experience it for the first time. I got to take someone who had not been in quite a long time as well. It was hilarious because she was saying it feels like you have still been going all this time. And even though genuinely I had to understand, I had to figure out the lightning lane pass. I had to figure out it sucks that there's no fast passes. That disappointed me so much. Uh, my favorite people no longer work there, which makes sense. It's been 5 years, but like I used to have a kind of personal bartender. I found out he was, getting out there, hanging out with other people aside from me. So that kind of made me a little bit sad. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I used to have a bartender who made the best drinks. His name was Rob in Carthay Circle, and man, I used to go so much back in the day. I would go. I love how I can say back in the day. Like I'm an old Disney fan. Okay, I used to go so much so back when Disney was honestly um, still had the raves. Basically, that's how long ago. Back when they had the Mad Hatter party and everything, and then they got before that it was Tron, all that stuff. So oh man, I actually got to hang out with Drake Bell a couple times there. It was through a friend of a friend, but like, he was there. That was kind of cool. It was there. I have so point is I've got a lot of stories. A lot of things happened back then, and yeah. Aside from that, though, let me introduce myself. What is Sip the Magic? What is the goal of this channel? What am I doing and everything like that? So basically what this is I am running this account to where I feel like I have a lot of skills in photography, videography, and I thought I could like bring something new for the whole Disney fan base, basically. Thought it'd be cool to actually share a lot of event experiences that I attend that are Disney related and also go to the parks and local things around the area. I live super close to Disneyland, and I was thinking maybe I can do like a kind of like a tour, an adult tour guide for Disney. I see a lot of family friendly ones. I still am going to keep it PG. I hope I haven't cursed today. Cursing kind of just comes naturally to me. So I'll try my best not to. But aside from that, though, the goal is to basically just utilize my skills as a hobbyist bartender to recreate the drinks from Disneyland, and also to shoot some really quality photos when I'm at the parks and share them with all of you. It's fine that this particular live stream, I'm alone. No one's here right now. That's perfectly fine. This is going to live as a replay, so you can kind of get an intro to the account and everything, to the channel and everything. So it's perfectly fine. Uh, Now, though, I had to pour myself some coffee because I've literally been dealing with troubleshooting for the past few hours. And essentially, I just needed to, like, how do I say? Yeah, we're just gonna get into editing. That's it. Let's go and get started because, like, yeah. So now we're in the scene for editing, and I'm editing in Lightroom today. All the photos that you're gonna see were shot on the Sony A7CR. It's a really cool compact camera. I'm a Sony Alpha photographer, and pretty much, yeah, we're just gonna go through and edit these photos. So first of all, let's go back to the beginning to the ones that I already edited, and just show you what I've done so far. So this one's already finished, pretty much, which is cool. That's finished too. This is finished, 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 finished. Wow. Honestly, got to go to Disneyland with one of the nicest people I've ever met, and one of the coolest people I've ever met. And genuinely, every time she smiled, I just genuinely smiled. Um, yeah. So now we get to look at some of the photos that I've been struggling with a bit. So I've been struggling with a few of these actually, and I feel like I like this edit as it is. I think she had said that she did too. She didn't like this one, which is fine. I just gotta basically. So instead, what I'm gonna do is, since I'm on the computer, if she didn't like this edit, I'm gonna go ahead and reset it. Okay, and we're gonna come in, and we're not gonna look at any presets yet. First, before we look at any presets, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, cool. You can still see the photo. Before we look at any presets or anything, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of play around. So first of all, I like to see what auto would do. Like if I were to actually go by the auto settings, and what that does for me is it gives me kind of like a baseline of what it thinks needs to be done to the photo. The problem is what it really wants to do is it wants to boost the exposure up a lot. It wants to boost everything up so much so, but then it's like adding a lot of like noise and grain. So clearly Lightroom thinks that what's necessary is to like blast everything up. I don't think so. So let's go ahead and reset. So let's like see what each of the settings do. So yeah, like exposure is trying to add a lot of light. We're not gonna go with that. Contrast gonna make it super contrasty, which I kind of like. I actually like that. Where like if you add a bit more contrast, but before we mess around with contrast, let's just check out to see what's happening with each of the settings, see what we're gonna need. So I really like the way that like if you raise the highlights, you get a lot of more out of the background and it makes it look like really lively. So I don't want to go too much, but we're gonna just go with +9 for that. And okay, let's see. Yeah, plus 9 is good. Okay. I do like to try to stick to like even numbers. Let's just go with +10. All right. Okay, let's see what shadows do. So again, I almost feel like it's better to just lean into the dark of the photo. And what we'll do is we'll add a mask and we'll raise the shadows on her alone. But I feel like to avoid the background getting too much noise, we're just gonna lower the shadows for the background. But we're gonna go -5 instead of all the way because right now, if you lower the shadows, we're lowering the shadows for the entire photo, which is not great. So instead, we're just gonna focus on this. All right. All right, cool. So the whites, white again. White is kind of doing something similar to what highlights did. I do get a little bit confused sometimes. I feel like they do the exact same thing. But white is definitely only really focusing on the white areas of the photo, and if I lower it, it's kind of breaking the lighting. If I increase it, I'm just going to increase it. We already increased highlights to +10, so we're just going to increase these to plus. Let's not look at the numbers. Let's actually look at how the photo's doing and then gauge it based on that. So that's too much. Okay, we're just going to do. Oops. All right. So +10. Let's just do +10, +10. Let's see where we're at right now. So we haven't done much, but we have like made it. We have brightened up the background and everything. I feel like it looks a little bit better for the background. Okay. Now for the blacks. So pretty much by raising the blacks, we're actually doing a better job of getting more detail than if we raise the shadows without adding too much noise, which is interesting to me. So -5, yeah. If I raise the shadows, it's like adding a lot. So let's first see about, yeah, interesting. Okay, let's go -5 on that, and let's go -10 on shadows. And I think again, what we're gonna end up doing is instead of doing shadows and blacks for the overall photo, instead we're just gonna focus that on when we add the mask for her. So we've got our overall like basic stuff right here done for highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. And now we're going to play around with the contrast a bit and see if we want to add more contrast or less. I think I want to add like +3 contrast. Okay, let's see. So yeah, that's too contrasty. Hmm. Okay, we're gonna go with this +3 contrast. Okay, and then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna leave the exposure as it is. Yeah, actually no, we can do like +5. Okay, bump up the exposure just a little bit. Okay, cool. So now I don't want to do anything with texture and clarity and dehaze until after I have actually like checked to see how the mask is going to look on her. So for point curve, we're just going to try some of the defaults. So that's medium contrast, that's strong contrast. Let's just make our own. Let's just try lifting everything up like that. Okay. Let's remove that one. Let's lower it a bit. Okay. Now where are we? Again, we haven't done too much yet. I think we're gonna see the biggest changes once we actually add the add everything else. I felt like these looked way better last night from my phone. Yeah, they did. That's the thing about editing from a phone. You edit on the phone and they'll look great, and then you see it like on an actual desktop and it does not look as nice. So the photos I edited yesterday on the phone were not great, as good as I thought they were, which kind of sucks. All right, we're gonna play around with a little bit of the color, but we're not gonna do too much because I don't like doing too much with color because then it messes with people's skin. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit to the yellow. For the red, we're gonna make the red a bit brighter. With the saturation, we're gonna increase the luminance on the red too, just because I really like that red light in the back. for the orange. You see, if I were to lower orange, it's gonna make her black and white. Yeah, because the lighting, there's like orange cast all over. Okay, so greens. There's not really much greens in the photo, so we'll just lower it by 10 just to add more focus to all the other colors. Again, blue is probably dedicated to the sky, so let's not mess with that. Um, this blue is definitely for the sky. Yep, there it is right there. I don't want to mess with that. I want these to actual have color in them, you know? And purple, yeah, we can keep the purple. There's probably purple lights in the background, like right there. Like if I increase the luminance, you're gonna see these purple lights more. So I guess we could like bump it up a little bit, but there's really no point. It's just gonna do this. So just put it like +5 just because. And then pink. Is there any pink in the photo? Not really. So let's just go and leave that. So yeah, again, still haven't done much of anything. Let's go ahead and add our mask just so that we can finally see a difference in the photo. So pretty much cool thing is you can select the subject, and so I'm just selecting the person. Entire person, create mask. See how quick that is? I'm on an M4 MacBook, so that thing is fast. And okay, let's make sure. Is this actually? Yeah, it's live. I'm public. Hmm. Let me see real quick. All right. Just checking something real quick. Hold up, everybody. Let's see. All right, back to that. We're finally on the mask. Finally, took us long enough, but fortunately now we're actually going to see some difference. So we are going to bump up the shadows on her, bump up the highlights as well. We're going to bump up the exposure just a tad. We're just trying to add some separation and add some light so we can actually see her. That's all. Highlights to +15. Shadows. I really need to get better at photographing at Disneyland. This is the first time I'd ever done it. And at nighttime, it was really difficult. So, yeah, I didn't do a very good job, and it's showing now in the fact of how much work I have to put into this photo. Okay, cool. Just brightened her up pretty much. All right. So that's enough for the mask. Let's try to denoise the photo a bit and see what happens. No. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So pretty much so far what we have is this is the this is this is before, this is after. Didn't do too much. Just kind of like brightened whoops. We just kind of brightened everything up just to see a little bit more detail. I wish that I had been there with a lens that opened wider than f2.8 because that would have allowed me to actually get more light naturally rather than how I did as I did. Sadly, though, I was there with just my 35 mil 16 and 35 f2.8 RIP. I just broke that lens. Really sad about that. But yeah, Okay, but I wonder now I'm starting to think to myself, maybe I should at least see what some of these presets look like on it. Because yeah, like I would love to see like if any of the presets could have did a better job than I could did. So yeah, that one right here is not great. Nope, it's not great either. Nope, nope. Patina. I kind of like what that does, but no. Portrait, vintage. You say if these were my photos and I were just editing for myself, I personally would just go all in like on black and white. Like that's just what I would do. Like I would just lean into like the moodiness of it and everything like that. That's personally what I would do. Personal preference 100%. Jackie, Joyce. I like that. I actually really like that. Again, if it was my photos, this is the kind of things I would do. But they're not. So I'm at the will of, at the whim of wanting to make sure that the other person's happy and everything. I love what this is doing to it. Like a lot more than what I did. It's just making it way too yellow. You see, again, black and white. Yeah, I don't know. Even that, I like that a lot. These are all really freaking crazy. All right, what happened here? Like it was so good on my phone, and this looks like crap. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna focus on editing now. So I should just come back to these. This has become the bane of my night. I hate them so much. Whoa. I've never heard the fan on my computer until today. That's a first. All right. We got nothing done today. Just a lot of technical difficulties, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm genuinely tired. So, we're going to try again with the stream. I'm going to leave this one live. I know I failed. I failed everybody. Um, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, none of these presets are doing great. I need to make my own preset for this. Or I just need to auto it. Let's just try something real quick. Auto and denoise. Let's see what happens. That's scary. The noise is just like, you want to look like an alien? Sure. All right, guys. I'm going to do another live stream soon, I promise, where I do a better job. Won't have technical difficulties, won't be about to pass out. I'm sitting here right now, legitimately about to pass out. It's past my bedtime. I know you're probably thinking, past your bedtime. Yeah, I wake up every day like at 4:30 a.m., so I'm tired right now. I am going to try to do this again later, but yeah. All right, I will see you in the next stream. I definitely want to do this more. Definitely want to do post more Disney content and everything like that. I'll be shooting photos at Disney often and hanging out with everybody and stuff like that. Had some technical difficulties today, but that's okay. I got through them, and yeah. But I'm glad that I at least tried, and it was cool to just have a first video up. And we will chat again soon. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Sorry, everybody. I feel bad. Like if I failed you, but yeah, I'm tired. Like as you can tell, I don't want to like be up doing this when I'm falling asleep and stuff. So I'll chat with you in the next one.